Hello, welcome to Eurocine Expo 2025. I'm sitting next to Melita Halilovic from Sony. Thanks for joining us.
Sure.
Now you're on the marketing side.
Yes.
You've just launched the Burano, which is going down really well.
Yeah.
What has the journey been? You know, it's interesting seeing companies release cameras that sort of fit in at a specific level. There's always been, for a long time, it's been a chase of getting ever more technical and high res and all that kind of thing. But now it seems to be as much of a focus. No, we want a range of cameras that is a logical progression for everyone. Is that actually the case?
Yeah, I think it's funny, when I joined Sony about 2 years ago now, almost 2 years. It was quite new, and I joined about a couple of months before the Burano was launched. So it was my first product, so I got right in there. And to me, it was quite new. Everything was quite new. But the idea was that we have the Venice 2. The Venice 2 is an established product. It's something that's being used a lot. People like it. And then we have the FX9, which a lot of people also enjoyed. And essentially there was a gap in between where we wanted that quality that a Venice 2 can offer you. The 8K sensor and the picture quality, the color science. We wanted all that, but in a sort of more handleable way, but a bit lighter, a bit more for the one-person teams, for the documentary style people. So it's more about that sort of, because the quality for the cameras is quite high everywhere, and we're talking about like very small differences now. So it's just about what people prefer, and we kind of wanted to just sort of fill that gap that we saw in our own product lineup.
Yeah. And you're right. That usability is a really important thing. Even the whole Sony interface. The menu system and all that. I know they spent a lot of time getting that right, so it is intuitive.
Yeah.
And if you know one product, you can find your way around another one, can't you?
Yeah, but there's always, I know that a lot of people that use, for example, Ari's cameras, they are used to that interface, and it's different from ours. So there's always a level of what you prefer, what your own preference is, and that's something that I think is one of the big challenges, of course, in the marketing aspect of the job. I work for the GSA area, so it's Germany, Switzerland, and Austria. But I'm from Germany, and Germany is quite a heavy ARRI market. Like a lot of people here, obviously. And
is it? I never noticed.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah,
so, and that's sort of, it's funny being in that position where you kind of want to push the Sony product, obviously, to that market. But at the same time, I can understand where that loyalty comes from, because it's a Munich company. So kind of balancing that and trying to get people to at least try our cameras out, even if they prefer ARRI, and maybe have a look at what the differences are, and maybe some things that we can do maybe better, maybe easier. So yeah, there's a couple of challenges there in certain aspects.
Yeah, and it's, in some ways, that's quite exciting, isn't it? Because it's a challenge.
It is.
It's not just we brought another one, everyone's going to like it kind of thing. We brought this, have a look at it. And I mean, the Venice has done really well, hasn't it? It's been adopted on a lot of top-level features, and there's things about it, they're not detachable.
Yeah. I mean, we just recently launched this new extension system, Mini. And obviously the standard extension system was quite well received for a lot of people, but we still had some people coming in saying, if it was a bit smaller, like a bit more flexible, that'd be great. So we are trying to listen to that feedback and make sure we find a way. And for the Mini, which is like about this size, it's like a smartphone size, it's 70% smaller than the standard Rialto. I'm not calling it Rialto, I'm not meant to call it Rialto, the extension system. So there's a bit more flexibility, and people are enjoying that as well. And we have it here at the booth as well, so people are trying it out, quite excited. Yeah. So that's good to see. Always nice. Yeah.
And I think Sony have done so well because they really do listen to what people come back with, and you seem to turn it around on a dime, because I'll be at one show where they're talking about looking at this kind of thing, and the next show it's either launched or it's there kind of thing. I mean, I don't know, that might be just as outsider looking in,
I think it depends on the segment as well. Sony's so big a company, and it's funny for me, for example, joining, I was in a sort of smaller company before, and joining like such a big corporate setup. We are quite corporate in some sense, and we have a lot of people running around in like suits at certain events, and obviously we cater to other segments like the broadcast sector and sell system camera switchers and all that stuff, where it's very different. And then being in such a corporate setting, and then adapting to the cinema market, which is quite different. But here people don't necessarily run around in suits. Everything's quite network based. It's about who you know. It's about talking to people, and that's what we're trying to do, despite the setup internally being a bit different. So we are trying to do like roundtables where we talk, for example, to ACs, because we do market a lot to DOPs, obviously, because they make the choices sometimes even higher up. But we are trying to talk to the ACs and the DITs who are working sometimes even more closely with the products, and are the ones that will tell us, I don't like where the button is. It's a bit weird when I work with the camera. That's annoying. So we try and listen to everyone involved in the process and try and adapt as much as we can. Whatever's not everything's possible, but what we can do, we will try. The extension system mini, for example, that's the smallest we can go, and that was the challenge. It was sort of how small can we go without in any way sort of reducing the picture quality, and that is now smaller is not possible.
You can't actually get smaller than the sensor sort of thing.
Yeah.
And it's that you've got a range of cameras now where people can start at quite an affordable end of it and work through the whole career. Work on the same cameras.
Essentially, we just launched the FX2 as well, and then obviously FX3. The Netflix approved small cameras. The Creator was shot partly of an FX3, so it's funny because there's because you're also creating a bit of an issue with your own products, because obviously we're competing with our own product at this point, because obviously we want people to use the Venice 2 for big productions, and there are still a lot of advantages to using the Venice 2, of course, but still there are some people who be like, oh, well, I can use the FX3 or the FX30, and they're good cameras, so you're kind of cannibalizing yourself in a way, so that's also a challenge. But it's good. We want to have the full lineup and have people be able to pick and choose what they want and what they can work with best.
Well, thanks for spending time to talk to us.
Thank you so much.
The rest of the show is successful for you.
Thank you. So far, so good.
Catch up at another show somewhere else.
Great. Sounds good.
Thank you.